This is Jessica.
And this is Kelly. And this is the Chasing Brighter podcast.
Hello, everybody. Today, Kelly and I are going to be talking about our trip to Cooperstown, which is actually just kind of an area in New York where we went for our son's baseball tournament.
Yeah. So many of you might know Cooperstown as the home of baseball and the Baseball Hall of Fame, but there are a lot of baseball tournaments that happen in the summer in the entire region. And so we are going to share a lot of things that we experienced during our trip. That brings me back to the boys had summer camp and there was a talent show. And there was this boy, I'm going to say he was 8 or 9, and he was singing that song from Katy Perry.
Yeah.
And he was lip syncing it, except for the roar part. And he was like, roar. And he was like, I want to let everybody know that I'm going to make this really loud sound. And so, the first time I do it, maybe I'll warn you in case it's like really loud for you and you have a hard time with it and you just want to plug your ears, right? And so we're just like, how loud is he going to roar, right? And it was like, roar. He's a kid and he doesn't have a loud
How old was he?
He was like 8 or 9. Oh my gosh. It was the sweetest thing. And then the worst part about talent shows, as you know, is that rarely do they ever cut the music. Like I think a well-organized talent show for kids should limit to 60-second gigs. That's it. You have a minute to do your act. And that's it. Instead, because songs are super long. And so it's like, dude, I heard you roar like 5 minutes ago. Like I am good with you roaring. Also, it's a lot to like for them to like.
I love that he was like, I just want to let you know.
Oh my gosh.
It was the your ears.
Adorable thing. And like for a kid at that age to like put themselves out there, I think is so awesome. That kid's probably going to do well in life.
Right. So Kelly, we went to the Cooperstown area of New York. Did we actually stay in Oneonta?
Yes. The town that the VRBO was in Oneonta, even though we were out in the country, and we basically stayed in an old farmhouse, which was adorable. And it was really halfway in between Oneonta and Cooperstown, which was a great location for us.
We were in upstate New York, almost straight west of Albany, kind of west and a little bit south of Albany, and northwest of the city. When you go there, right, you have to fly into the Albany airport and then drive about a 90-minute drive that we had to do. So it's a hike to get there, right?
Yeah.
And then we were so lucky. My son, Dominic, was able to guest play for your son, Wes's team. And so every summer, Cooperstown, like Kelly mentioned in the intro, Cooperstown, New York is considered the home of baseball, and they house the Baseball Hall of Fame. And they also have the field there, Kelly, that we should know, the famous field. Doubleday Field. And that's where they, induct people into the Hall of Fame. Doubleday Field was in the movie A League of Our Own. League of Their Own. Have I lost my mind?
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. Well, I'm a woman, so it's me. It's Miley.
It's believed to be the birthplace of baseball. And I think it's personally, my take on it was sort of like, let's call this the birthplace of baseball. I would agree. Yep. Works for us. Right. Where it was like, was it really?
Well, there were so many different, so at the Baseball Hall of Fame, Dominic was reading every single word in the Hall of Fame. And so there were so many different forms of baseball and different rules all over the country. And I believe all over the world, but definitely all over the country. And they all had their own kind of private clubs. And in Cooperstown is where it started becoming streamlined into the baseball that we know it. But so today we wanted to talk about kind of why we're there, what we recommend for all the families that will be going there this summer, the hits and misses, and our whole experience. So there are 3 different baseball tournament or baseball programs that run the entire summer for baseball teams. And there is our boys went to Cooperstown Baseball World,
which was in Oneonta.
And so they stay at the SUNY Oneonta, which is the State University of New York, Oneonta campus. So they stayed in dorms the whole time. And so I loved that.
That was amazing. It's a beautiful campus, very hilly, and just located, I thought, just kind of nestled into the town and on the outskirts. It seemed very new. I don't know.
Yeah, the campus. Yeah, I mean the fields were new.
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
The dorms were cool because they were. I mean the dorms were older. Like what do you?
The dorms were a little tired,
but right, dorms. Right. It's dorms, and then
the dining hall was beautiful too. It was like a brand new dining hall. The kids experienced.
Oneonta is a really cute town, and we stayed at a VRBO kind of in the farm, maybe on like a plot of land about 15 minutes away.
Yeah, 8 to 10 minutes.
And but also I forgot to mention that Cooperstown is just for 12U, right? So it's a lot of 11, 12-year-old
thing, right? There's
kids.
And there's Cooperstown All-Star
Village,
which is in Oneonta.
And Cooperstown Field of Dreams. Yeah. Cooperstown Dreams Park.
Yes.
Cooperstown Dreams Park. And on Cooperstown Dreams Park, that's kind of what a lot of people are thinking of Cooperstown. They kind of stay in like barrack situations where they have a trunk, bunk beds, all the team in like one room.
Village is the same.
Yeah. And then they have uniforms, they have different stuff. So ours was a little bit different because our kids wore their actual uniform from their team. But I liked our experience. Our boys will probably just talk about the dining hall. Is that all they'll talk about? Or?
I would say so. I mean, I think they really enjoyed, they got bused to the ballpark when there was a game. They played hide and seek. It was a huge campus.
All through the campus. Yeah, they had free reign of the boys had free reign of the campus.
Yeah.
And it was like they had little like three double rooms to like a little living area, and then those 6 people kind of shared a shower, and then the 6 boys had a coach. And so our boys bunked together. There's no air conditioning, so that was a little adjustment, but we had really brought a fan. Yeah, it's cool at night. The weather was surprising to me because it was like pretty gorgeous
up in the mountains. It felt like, and I was telling people I felt like it was the Catskills, but it's technically not the Catskills, but it's like bordering them. It's very mountainous to me, like old.
Yeah,
mountains.
It was very, very green and hilly. Like you talk about them getting bused to the fields where we had to walk uphill.
It was like a 45-degree incline.
Yeah, it was a hike, but they offered little golf cart rides. But we always deferred to like the older people who we can walk. We were fine. We're able-bodied.
Yes, that was our butt burner going up those hills.
Yeah, but I thought the whole experience was awesome. And to me, if Dominic wants to go to college just because of the dining hall, that's fine. Like whatever inspires him for higher education.
Yes.
I'm down. And then that was Dominic's first camp experience. He's stayed, at friends' houses and stuff like that, but Dominic's never been away at a camp. That was his very first camp experience. So that was super cool that he got to be with his cousin, and they had they didn't have a lot of rules, right? So they could have their phone. They kind of do whatever they wanted, which I'm sure was so freeing for them.
I think what I'm finding is age 11/12 is a very prime ideal age. It's like the sweet spot of when they are good being alone, like home away with friends, because they love it. They just thrive off of their friends, and they're old enough that they have a sense of responsibility. So they're not going to like get themselves in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that with the kids? Like,
yeah, the melatonin debacle. Dominic had a really hard time with the time change. So the first night he could not sleep.
And rightly so. It's 3 hours time difference for
right.
Vegas.
And they wanted the boys, in bed 9:30 because we had early games every day where they would be, up and eating breakfast at like 6:30. And so Dominic was really stressed and calling me because he was calling me, I can't sleep, 11 o'clock, 11:30, midnight.
Because he was feeling responsible and knew he needed to get to bed.
He needed to get up. He was stressed about getting himself up. And then Wes was up. And so I told them to do the audiobooks. They listened to an audiobook for a little bit. And then I told them to listen to the meditation. They're so cute. Because could you imagine 11 mom texting us?
I can't believe.
Listen to a meditation.
It would be like, I tried a meditation. It didn't work.
And they both were like, it worked. That was really helpful. Thanks. Like they both were like, the meditation was really helpful. Thank you. And then I was like, okay, I need to get you some melatonin. And so we got the melatonin, but everything, if you had to administer anything, you had to log it with the camp and give it to the coach, and the coach had to administer it. And I was like, this is where I follow rules that make sense to me. And this was a rule that didn't make sense to me because Dominic's very independent and takes, allergy medication, all of his medication on his own. He's good to go. And I didn't want to have to write a paper, sign it, do all the things.
Plus it's not really prescription,
No, it's just none of it. Yeah. It's just a over the counter supplement. So I told Dominic, I'm going to bring you guys melatonin, but you're not supposed to have it. So I'm just going to bring it for you guys.
So it was like 8:00 at night. And we were like, when we get there, we'll call you, come down and get the melatonin. And so we parked. And they came down, and Dominic immediately saw the campus security guy.
There's a campus security car in the parking lot.
And he was like, the cops are here.
And I'm like, and so then I just gave him a hug, and he really learned. My mom is incredibly sketchy, and I don't know if I can trust her moving forward, but I gave him a hug. And when I gave him a hug, I stuffed the melatonin in his backpack. Meanwhile,
in a Ziploc baggie.
Right. So then I'm like, okay, so what do we say if Wes is I'm totally gonna just Wes was I'll keep a secret, no big
Wes
deal.
Was just
so then it's almost
I'm not
scary that Wes is I'm never. So Dominic is obviously can't keep a secret and super straight lace, right, or whatever. And so it's there we go. So we'll have to look out for Wes, their first drug deal.
The good news is there were a lot of shops that sold supplements and things around there. There are plenty of grocery stores.
What was the grocery store? That was my favorite.
There was a Price Chopper, which we didn't go to.
No. And I would say that was one of the things that I felt was tough, was places being open.
Yeah. So I think, it really hit me.
Hannaford was our favorite grocery place.
That there's a labor shortage, and you hear about it and you see it in your day to day. But that was the first. I mean, granted, spring break, Florida was the same, but I guess you guys just kind of think it's not really everywhere, and especially in big touristy areas. But it was there too. Right.
Yeah. Because I live in the Las Vegas area, and in 2020, Las Vegas and the casinos were open June 2020. Right. And so for us, because we're so touristy and the casinos wield a lot of power, we've been open a long time. And so to your point, when we went spring break 2022 to DC, they had lifted mask mandates in Vegas that February. And so when we went to DC, I was really surprised DC was just opening up, whereas Vegas had been opened up 18 months. I think kind of a similar experience with also opening up from the pandemic, because Cooperstown was cooperstown summer 2020, summer 2021. And this was their very first summer opening up from the pandemic.
In fact, Cooperstown Baseball World, I think, was the only one that was allowing 13U, which was to accommodate the kids who were 12U last year.
Yeah, there were kids that missed it. So they also had 13U. And so a lot of businesses closed. And so there were a lot of things that were not updated online. So you'd say, oh, look, this place is open. Let's go there. And then that business had been completely shut down and closed. So a lot of things were not updated online. So it was difficult to know what was open and what wasn't open.
Agreed.
And then also the labor shortage. So then if you'd go to a place that was open, they were very limited staff And so it was very slow.
Yeah, you were going to wait a long time for a table unless you went earlier. And I think, Jess, this is the new normal for the near future. I mean, I think, coming back to Chicago, you see it everywhere now. And I think what we all took for granted is when you were traveling, you were going to a tourist destination that had late hours, open early, open 7 days a week. And now you're spending your time finding places that are even open, right? That you didn't realize you needed to do. And I was going to add on that is I think that nobody updates their website that much. And so you go to Google and it says it's open. But what we found, I think, is that Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook was the best thing. If somebody had a Facebook page, then we would know, because you could see on Facebook, you can see, oh, look, they posted, right? They posted
like
in the past for the 7 days or whatever. Oh, look, this post was from 2018. This place isn't open anymore. That's kind of how we're gathering information. And I think that's what we kind of wanted to talk about today really was we want to look at things to do in the area, shopping in the area, and dining in the area. And what would you say, Kel, what was your favorite thing that we did in Cooperstown?
I would say it's tough. The Baseball Hall of Fame is like a quintessential bucket list.
Yeah. And just the Cooperstown area, right?
Yes.
The Cooperstown area. So the Baseball Hall of Fame I could probably go 3 times. I don't know. There was just so much. It was a lot.
And it kind of made me realize how I have like a 1 hour limit on it.
Oh, I always do.
I love going to that stuff, but it's like, I almost wish there was a guide. It's like, if you're only going to be here for an hour, see these things.
Yeah. And the players get in free. So our boys got in free, and I was surprised and impressed and happy, but like Dominic really wanted to read every single word, which is wonderful, but that is not my attention span. And any type of museum, I want to go opening. I want to go for an hour and I'm good to go. Like you had a map I wanted to highlight. I wanted to see the women's baseball area, right? That they showed in A League of Their Own. I wanted to see, they have the African-American history part of it. I definitely wanted to see that. Yeah. And then the rest, I was like, I don't really, whatever.
I loved all the collector's card stuff. The kids love that. And then the whole, I don't know, baseball records, shortest person, tallest person.
Oh, that was
most
fun.
Home runs.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like, I don't know a lot of the names.
And seeing the uniforms when they were established, like it was cool. I mean, I would say, our dad loves baseball.
Yeah. And my favorite player being George Brett from the Kansas City Royals, like even taking a picture of the plaque because he's in the Hall of Fame. That was cool. Like the Hall of Fame thing was also like seeing the actual Hall of Fame was cool. I mean, it makes me think, do you even remember so going to school in South Bend, like the College Football Hall of Fame was like something that the College Football Hall of Fame was like the place where special events were. Do you remember going there? I don't remember,
going there.
I just remember going there to go there for an event and to like drink.
Yeah. I don't remember going there as a museum experience. Yes. No.
So that was kind of my last memory of that, which the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right. But I'm also not, I mean, during college, I absolutely loved watching the football games, but I have my tolerance for football. I feel like it's just I feel like football's so violent, and so I just am not as much of a fan. But and then like my son doesn't play football, so I don't care about it. Like my son plays baseball, so I care about baseball.
Cooperstown. So I think for us, growing up in Kansas, and B, being a little further east and not on the East Coast, a little further west, not on the East Coast, and you being in Vegas, totally different. But I forgot, and I know you lived in Philly for a while, how cool the old stuff is, right? Things that are like pre-Civil War, pre-Revolutionary War. Like it was just old. The area was old.
Just everything was old. Like the buildings in Oneonta where we stayed were like 3- and 4-story old building, like Victorian homes. We looked up like how old were those. And that was beautiful.
So that's
like
all that charm, right? And the Cooperstown area itself, I mean, it's built on it's built on the Hall of Fame, right? Cooperstown, New York itself. And
Yeah.
so
The area, Oneonta.
Yeah, fair enough. The season is
Otsego
basically,
Lake.
June through September. The Hall of Induction of the MLB induction is a huge part for that area too, aside from these tournaments. So outside of that, it's, it's like that's the entire economy.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It's a little strip of shops and things. We had a good time doing that. My favorite too was Glimmerglass State Park, Jess, Cooperstown sits on a lake, which is Lake Otsego Lake.
Otsego. Yeah.
And the north side of that was this Glimmerglass State Park, which we drove up. The lake itself is like 10 miles long, which is crazy. It's like a long, narrow.
And it had a beachfront.
There was a beach that was
beautiful.
Really cool. It had a concession stand, a brand new like clubhouse, right? With nice bathrooms and everything. Coming from the city of Chicago beaches was a big upgrade.
It was adorable. Yeah. That little area was adorable.
And we really went up there to go see Hyde Hall, which was an amazing Jane Austen era manor that sits kind of up on a hill and overlooks the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, and they have like a covered bridge.
Yeah, there were a couple covered bridges, and
the only covered bridge in the state of New York and in the United States
with like a single something or other. It was the way that it was engineered. It's the only one. Still standing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, seeing all like that beautiful old kind of, like English manor was all beautiful. And then we also did some hiking, which was fun. And, I know we talked about it in other podcasts, but hiking is wonderful. If you're not used to bugs, make sure you bring bug spray. And
it was the height of summer. We had fantastic weather that entire week.
Yeah, it rained a lot, which made it cooler.
But it's a wooded region, right? And it was humid, so there was a lot of like flying things.
And then so that I would say to do, hang around downtown Cooperstown, Main Street, hang around that area.
Even Oneonta
a lot
had some
to
cool
do.
Downtown
Oneonta, lots to do, hiking, and if you get a chance to check out Glimmerglass State Park. And then kind of looking at shopping, one of my favorite experiences that we had, was Lord and Lady Farm.
Yeah.
So as we said,
gave the soaps to the two soaps. Some of the soap I bought to some friends as little gifts.
Yeah. We were staying kind of on a farm, and Kelly saw this little sign that said Lord and Lady Farm, and she was like, look it up. And like we said, Facebook was where to go for things. And so we saw on Facebook, it's a little shop. And we pulled up to an adorable, of course, red house with white trim and this tiny little barn. And she had goats, and
there was a little
Jennifer
sign
Lord
that the
came
shop
out.
was open. Yes, Jennifer Lord.
The Lord came out, and she was like, oh, just feel free to shop. She made a lot of stuff herself. There was those goat milk salted caramels. She had goat cheese.
Yeah, like I think people you have to, if you're going to drive on that road, you have to stop there to get the goat's milk salted caramels. They're to die for.
They're ridiculous.
We did not buy enough of them.
Yes. And then she made a lot of products like goats from the goat
you can
milk.
Make from goat's milk.
She was making it. Right. And then she had other products. Like I had a hard time being gluten-free in that area. Right. And so they had gluten-free baked goods in there. And then she said she tried to have things from locally owned female run businesses. Mm-hmm. And so anything she didn't make, it would be from a locally owned woman owned business. And so they had little signs and hand towels, and I got a sugar scrub. I got some cool, I never saw that before. It was like a Play-Doh soap for Geo. Yeah. So at home, it's like you can play with it in the bath and then it turns to bubbles. It was pretty cool that she made. And so that was so much fun. And then also if you want to see the goats, and she's available, she will give you a tour to see the goats. What else, Kel, shopping wise, did you like?
In Oneonta, there was this really cute shop called Fashion in Action downtown. we kind of wandered in there after our lunch or while we were waiting on lunch, I think, right? And it was a lady who buys a lot of stuff in India and then brings it back to sell there. She was very much active in the Oneonta community in Little League.
Yeah.
The proceeds of her shop were to buy and support a school in India. So her and her husband a couple of years ago had made a decision to support a school in India, which was
they
awesome.
go to India often. They obviously have been halted by the pandemic, COVID. But all their proceeds. So they had a lot of stuff that she had brought back from India to sell and then give the proceeds back to a school that they support there. And we were able to get some beautiful fabric there. And the owner was really friendly and great. I also loved All About Girls, which is by Doubleday Field in Cooperstown. And that is a shop that has just stuff for girls in baseball and softball. My oldest is a softball player. So that was fun to go into and find some souvenirs. And I also, you found this
shop.
And yes. The Top Shop, which was Tops by David and Adam. And David and Adam have I think a huge YouTube channel, probably podcast too. They've been around since 1991. And so this was their baseball card shop that our boys went into. And it was so funny. They also had Pokemon cards, right? So you were buying Pokemon for Beckett, baseball cards for Wes. I was buying baseball cards for Dominic and then baseball cards for Justin because my husband is also a baseball card collector. So if you spent over $100, you got to go pick something for free. And our boys got to Topps backpacks. And then we got in the car and they opened up the backpacks and the backpacks had baseball cards in them. And I just, their faces, right? They were high-fiving and they were screaming. So, by the way, what is Wes using? Because that's Dominic's backpack for school right now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yes. I'm surprised. I'm like, let's see how long it'll make it. But no, Dom's obsessed with that backpack. So that was funny. And that was cool that they did that.
Yeah, that was, anybody who is a baseball card or a sport card or just any card collector right now knows that you can't find stuff. In the city, shelves will be cleared at Target or limit one packet per person. And here going into this Top Shop, and it was like, buy anything you want. And there was stuff that you couldn't find anywhere else.
At good prices. Cool. I couldn't believe the price because we had a little shop here that we took even your boys to, but the prices now have doubled and tripled since December. So we don't even really, Justin will still check there, but it's like crazy. So yeah. Because our youngest boys are Pokemon card collectors. So for sure, if you're a card collector, that's a great place to hit. And then also you discovered this. I'm not taking credit for it, but Cooper Country Crafts.
Oh, yes.
It's a co-op, right?
Yes.
Is that how you say that? Like a co-op. So all of
local
the various artists all take turns manning the shop, and then they all sell their various stuff. You can get, if you're a huge animal lover, you can get little souvenirs for your pets that you've left at home. I got some cookies for Teddy and some catnip for Coco and Rascal. And then you found the hand woven towels.
The lady who was working that day, she had said she made these towels. So she has a loom and she makes handmade towels, which was so cool. And I just think, as we get older, I just really appreciate, especially Chasing Brighter, the fact that people like do something you love.
Yeah.
And these people are all doing something they absolutely love. And just supporting that just seemed really like a great idea, right? So
I'm obsessed with my hand woven towels. Are you using them in your kitchen? I know you're in a kitchen, Reno, but I just did what you did because I walked in late and I was like overwhelmed because I love some crafts. And I know Wes and Kelly were done shopping. And so I'm like, what's Kelly buying? I'll buy what Kelly's buying. And it was those women's hand towels, the kitchen towels. They are incredible. Have you used them yet? They're like ridiculous. Anyway,
then I
they're
need to use them
and amazing. And like, we are really hard on our kitchen towels. And I'm really weird that I think a kitchen towel should only be used to dry clean hands. But Justin thinks the kitchen towel is to clean the floor and wipe red sauce off everything. And so there was like red sauce and all this stuff on this hand woven towel. And in my mind, I was like, what? Washed amazing. Like I got two and it's like, I can get rid of all of my other towels because these two are like incredible. So listen, if you're in Cooperstown and you're in need of some woven goods, I'm telling you, it's a place to go.
How about where we ate? How many awesome places did we find? Not
awesome.
so many.
The idea of many of these places were awesome. I want to start with a big miss. Okay. And I know that you've knocked me in previous podcasts for my TripAdvisor fanaticness, but TripAdvisor has always set me to the right place. I don't think it sends me to touristy places to eat. And we have been all over the world and we'll be like, where do we eat? And we'll look at TripAdvisor and we find these little places that are so great. And so everywhere, Google, TripAdvisor, everywhere, where to eat in Cooperstown for a lunch was the Yellow Deli Cafe.
In Oneonta.
And we went there and I ordered a side salad and you ordered a sandwich. 45 minutes, right?
It was incredibly slow. And these were like middle-aged men working. And I just assumed that they also had worked for a long time. So it wasn't like they didn't know what they were doing, but it was a snail's pace. Everything was
because the Yellow Deli is international. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what you and I would consider a cult.
It's like a commune. It's like a modern day commune.
Commune. I'm sorry. I apologize for the harsh cult labeling. But it is a Christian based group of people who have left the rat race and all live together, work together. All the food from the deli came from their farm. And fun fact, all of the children are homeschooled. So when we were when they were talking to us about leaving the rat race and exploring their culture, when they said homeschooled, Kelly, were you tapping out?
Right. I mean, the one thing that's not a sale, just if you're trying to recruit middle-aged women to a commune, you do not say that your children are homeschooled.
Right. It was right. We work all day in the deli, free tea. The women are back home with all the kids. What is happening? Yeah. And so there were not a lot of people there, right? It wasn't busy. It wasn't a busy place. One of the servers stopped serving us and went to the bar and started eating his lunch. And then, yeah, it was different. It was very different. They did all the woodwork inside. It was like a Hobbit village inside, right? Like there was like little, it was cool. It was very peek in there, but if you have to go anywhere in the next 2 hours, it was maybe get takeout.
Yeah, the food was fresh. You could tell that, again, this is like, I think a commune is like everyone helps. You create your own stuff, you grow your own stuff. And so they make a living by, growing all the food, and then they make food, their restaurant, and then you eat it. And it was delicious, but it was really slow. And it was strange because I felt like they were kind of trying to put a sales pitch on us. I'm like, if you decide to get out of the rat race, like we're here for you. And it was like,
Meanwhile, we're like on our phones. Like, we're in a hurry. We're very busy people. We're very busy.
Yeah. We needed to go. We were late for lunch. We were late for the baseball game.
Yeah. So if we piqued your interest in exploring what that would be like to peek in and see all of that, that's a place you could go if you're not in a hurry. Another place that was amazing but slow was Autumn Cafe.
Yeah. It had the most magnificent patio. And that was what I wanted. I wanted to go somewhere. Sometimes when I go out to dinner, I have this like vision of what I need, whether it's the food or the ambiance. And that place killed it. This huge patio in the back, beautiful lights and umbrellas. And it was evening and sunset. And
it was our first night there and we had to wait. That was like our very first experience.
We made a reservation.
We'll see you in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we made a reservation and then we walked around a little bit. And then when we came back, I would say how long? So these are two moms traveling with two boys sitting outside in a beautiful summer evening. Oh, we've got to have a delightful cocktail. How long did it take for the cocktails to come?
45 minutes.
45 minutes, guys. 45
So we're fine with waiting for our food, but
yeah, give us the cocktails, man.
And it wasn't like it was super packed.
No.
And even if it was one bartender, it's not like everyone's buying drinks all at once. So I didn't
Even didn't the boys get, because they had like
fancy drinks.
mocktails.
Yeah.
And
which we shouldn't have. I mean, if they would have
a
had
while.
Sprite, maybe it would have come faster. I don't know.
But it took a while for them to have their
Equally
mocktails.
as much. It took them a long time to get us our
But
drinks.
then when we got the appetizer, which was like the plantains, they were insanely amazing. Remember the plantains on like the wood board? Yeah, it was amazing. The food was delicious and fresh. And I got some kind of like cauliflower bowl, which was really good. And so the food was great, but like we were there a very long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Cut to, I know I mentioned this before, best buy ever, the mini Uno card deck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always played Uno. We played Uno for a minute, but that was disappointing, but delicious again. Yeah, just slow the shortage. So
those are kind of the misses. The other miss was Omegang.
Yeah.
Omegang.
Omegang. Brewery Omegang.
That was a brewery that's in Cooperstown that recently was bought by Duval, big beer company in Europe. And I think they have a lot of very well-known popular craft brews. And we wanted to hit that place. Beautiful tap room, and it was closed. It was what?
So they said
Wednesday
they were open
Thursday
to Sunday. They were open. And then on Thursday, they were only open until 6 p.m.
And so then we went
just to check it out. And it was closed that day.
Yes. And so then we said, well, we'll go on Friday.
We called.
And then it was unexpectedly closed for a private event on Friday.
Oh, I think it was private event Thursday. Friday, it just said, we're sorry, the shop is open or whatever. So that was weird.
The tap room was closed.
And also I felt like some places are like, yeah, we're open Friday from 12 to 12:25 and Saturday 11 a.m. to 11:02.
Yeah.
Like, what? How are we supposed to go there? But the big surprise that we loved, ended up going to twice, was Blue Mingo Grill. We had one of the families that we were traveling with was staying at a VRBO Airbnb nearby and had hit it and just raved about it. And they described it as like a restaurant on the water and really good food. And so we went, and it was amazing. Lobster roll, lobster pasta, delicious drinks. It was cocktails. We got the sriracha fries. What else was a big hit? The ahi nachos. Oh man, yeah. And we went. They have a little gift shop before I bought some pants that I'm obsessed with there. And then everyone from the team wanted to go again. Some people missed it, and we were saying how amazing it was because we were on the dock on the water. We went to. They have a little market, right? A little market.
Yep. Little gift shopping.
And there's cute. Yeah, I got some really cute little like baseball earrings for Mom there. But the
second day we went, it was so good, everybody, that we had gone through all the stuff where you got slow service everywhere, you can't get in places, blah blah blah, and so we drove 40 miles to go back. It was that good. It's that delicious, really tucked away, right on the water. And
we just walked up without reservations. And even though they said that it took a while, like the boys ran out by the water and were like skipping rocks on the water. And then we went to the market to shop. So even if you had, some time,
and then to do.
I don't even know how long they told us, but it's seriously just a deck. It's not big, but they're moving you around. They set big parties. It was just really incredible service. And delicious food.
And who wouldn't want to work on the lakefront at a marina restaurant? So that
Beautiful. It's like on the other side of Glimmerglass State Park, right?
Yeah. And then the other place that we ate at that was in Cooperstown that we loved, although we were lucky we had reservations, was Mel's on 22. Remember that place, Jess?
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have reservations. I think we walked in and asked about seating because we went early, like at 5:30.
I don't know if they took reservations.
I don't know, but we got in, and then there was like a line of people, and so I think if you can't make a reservation when it goes somewhere, get there 5:30 or earlier, and that was delicious.
Unless you have the patience of
that was good, fast, like just get us our drinks fast, right? good cocktails, good appetizers.
Food was really good. Remember? Oh, we had those burgers, Jess.
It was a burger
We had to
salad,
make
or what
that.
was it?
Yeah.
It was a burger salad.
It was
a bunless burger.
Yes, it was the bunless burger. And we need to recreate that at home. I forgot about that place.
I was kind of like, meh, and it was delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically like a burger on a bowl with a bowl of lettuce and the sauce.
Yeah. And now that we're reviewing everything, I was saying not a lot of gluten-free options, but it reminds me that you and I shared a burger at Blue Mingo and they had a gluten-free bun. There actually were gluten-free options at every place in the area. And that's why we got that, right? The bunless burger. And they were like, oh, what's our most popular item? And it was delicious.
Yes.
And some kind of tater tots. Do we get some kind of tater tots? I don't know. Anyways, it's all coming back to me. And then also just a quick recommendation for a sandwich place, Wise Guys Sammy's.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of on Main Street in Oneonta. And that is where we found fashion in action because we had grabbed some stuff at the deli there. And so, lots to see in that area. I would say, if you're traveling this summer with your family, bring a backpack, bring refillable water bottles,
bug spray sunscreen,
and some good sturdy shoes, just because it did rain, right? It rained quite a bit. And bringing
chairs if you can. Because the seating options on some of the baseball games, by the way, was not ideal.
If you're driving. But for flying, yeah. Just got to
pack an umbrella.
Oh, and a hat. Guess a hat.
For umbrellas for sunshade and hats as well.
Yeah. So, but I thought overall it was an incredible experience.
Yeah. I think the one thing that we both are similar is that, like, if we're going to travel, we don't want to waste a meal on a chain. There's plenty of chains and there were plenty of food options, but we really wanted to have a good meal. And I thought things were relatively reasonably priced too at the non-chain places.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally reasonably priced.
Hopefully you enjoy your trip to Cooperstown as much as we did.
Thanks for listening and joining us today.
And don't forget to follow us on social media at Chasing Brighter or on our blog, chasingbrighter.com.